Secretary.
Chair recognizes that the Lenore County Board of Education has established a quorum and calls the September 11th, 2023 regular monthly board meeting to order. Chair recognizes Mr. Nick Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principles to always base our decisions on the best interests of our young people. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Brett Williams to present the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, members of the board and the public, it's my honor and privilege to present to you for your consideration and hopefully your approval tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to the agenda?
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Woods. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey. We have a motion by Mr. Woods and a second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 7-0. The agenda is set for tonight. Okay.
6.
Mr. King's not here.
6.
Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Maybe I need to take math in the 5th grade with, oh, that's right, my wife returned. Anyway, 6-0, and I'm fixing to get to that. My apologies. So, it is now my privilege to recognize our guests. We normally recognize our elected officials, and we have someone in the audience tonight that told me personally that he had not been to a school board meeting in 5 years. So we'd like to welcome Judge John Sargent to the meeting tonight. Also, Mr. King has just notified us that he has taken ill this afternoon and he will not be in attendance tonight. I do have some comments that I would like to make. We welcome back all teachers, staff, and employees. We hope that you had a good summer and anticipate another great school year for 2023-2024. In welcoming everyone back, we would like to continue to thank all of the teachers, staff, and employees, regardless of job description, for their outstanding commitment, dedication, and hard work that goes into making the students of Lenore County Public Schools successful, as well as the Lenore County Public School System itself. We want to continue assuring all stakeholders that the Lenore County Board of Education and the administration will continue to commit to doing everything possible to provide for a safe and healthy environment for our students, staff, and our community. Now, before I recognize Mr. Williams to present honors, recognitions, and accomplishments, if you will permit me, I would like to take a point of personal privilege. As some of you may know, I experienced a life-altering medical event. I want to thank everyone for the cards, letters, texts, messages, emails, phone calls, voicemails, food, and especially the prayers during this time. I, for one, believe in a higher being. I believe that we all are here for a purpose. Sometimes our purpose is only known by that higher being and ourselves. Sometimes our purpose is known by the entire world. Life is short and precious. I would like to repeat that. Life is short and precious. On July the 20th, 2023, I was reminded of this. I believe that I am still here today because I have not completed my purpose here on this creation. As I reflect on the past 8 weeks in regards to my personal life, I have committed and renewed myself to strive to be a better husband, father, grandfather, son, brother, friend, and person. In regards to the Lenore County Board of Education, I have committed and renewed myself to strive to continue to be an effective board member, to strive to continue to work with my fellow board members and the administration to help make the Lenore County Public School System as successful as possible, and foremost, to strive to continue putting our students first in every decision I make in an attempt to help them to be as successful as possible. Thank you for allowing me to share this personal point of privilege. And as usual, Mr. Williams will continue with more highlights, would continue with highlights with more good news about the hard work and dedication that Lenore County Public School students and staff have put forth that has resulted in numerous honors, recognitions, and accomplishments. Chair now recognizes Mr. Brett Williams to present the following recognitions, honors, and accomplishments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and we're very pleased and thankful for your recovery, and we're glad that you're okay and continuing to improve. I'll begin tonight with what most of us already know, that it's been a difficult few days for our school system. In losing one of our own. Friday, the news broke about Mr. Tony Hill, one of our teachers at North Lenore High School, having passed away. Mr. Hill was a great teacher, a beloved coach, and he certainly will be missed. I had just seen him in the grocery store on Tuesday, and this was Friday. So it was a difficult day at North Lenore High School on Friday, and I want to thank all the members of the North Lenore High School family, the parents, the students, teachers, other staff members. I want to thank the members of our Lenore County Care Team with our social workers and our school counselors who went over to the school last Friday and will be there. We're there today and we'll be there tomorrow and for as long as is needed. Our care team does an amazing job, and unfortunately they've been needed a lot over the last few years, and they've gotten a lot of opportunities to use their services, and we're just thankful for them and what they're able to give and reaching out and helping to provide support to our kids and our adults as they continue to grieve. I ask that you please join me in keeping the family of Mr. Tony Hill in your thoughts, and if you're inclined, in your prayers during this difficult time of loss and healing. The funeral is tomorrow. It's a graveside at Pine Lawn Cemetery at 3 p.m. Difficult time, but you know what? We're made for this, and the resiliency of our kids and our adults is amazing. It continues to impress me. We saw that on full display during the pandemic. It continues to be, and we will continue to move forward day by day together. So thank you to all for that. We have had a great start to the school year. Ms. Herring will present tonight. She'll give you a brief overview of the instructional aspects of the beginning of the 23-24 school year. And Mr. Harvey will give you an operational assessment summary of our beginning, one of the smoothest starts that I can remember. And in the school administration business, that's really the gold standard you want. You want it to be smooth and you want it to be beneficial for the young people that we all serve, and it has been that. And we've seen a lot of smiles and happy faces on our kids and our adults to be back in school. Well, maybe after the first day. A lot of them have been sleeping late over the summertime. Maybe that's my kids in my house, but I think it applies to a lot of others too. But they were happy to be back in school with their friends and learning. So we're excited about that. So thank you to everybody who had a hand in making the beginning of this school year so outstanding. Tonight, it is my honor to present some good news to you and some accolades to our students, and then at the end of it, later, Ms. Herring's going to share some big news, some state level and national and international news about our school system that we're really excited about in the area of digital learning. But first, we want to showcase our agriculture education programs in our high schools. They're doing an outstanding job. These young people continue to go to state competition to excel, then go to national competition and excel, place at both the state and national levels. We could not be more proud of them. These young people, and I'll ask them tonight to share a word or two with you, but they continue to impress. These are high school students, and they go and they look people in the eye and they compete in these competitions at the state and the national level, and they impress all the judges, and they continue to win, and they continue to go onward and upward, and they're here tonight, and I just couldn't be more proud of them. So to their parents and other loved ones, thank you for sharing them with us. And so when they're recognized tonight, we invite you to come forward and take a picture with them. And if you'd rather just stand at your seat, we invite you to do that if you'd prefer. But we want you to be honored too, because it's not just these young people who excel. When they go away to competition, you're helping facilitate that. You're driving them places, and now some of them are driving, but you're, as my grandmother used to say, all up in it too, and it's the supper table conversation, and you're helping and supporting them and helping them to grow, to learn, and to continue to thrive. So we thank you too, because we realize you're our most important partner in their education. So at this time, I will share with you that representatives from the FFA chapters from South Lenoir High School and North Lenoir High School came away from the NC State FFA competition in Raleigh in June with a bumper crop of awards and honors, including 3 students who took first place honors in the state and won the right to compete in the national FFA competition in Indianapolis, Indiana. Let me say that again. Eastern North Carolina, small Lenoir County, our kids continue not only to win at the state level, and that's your ticket to competing at the national level, placing first in the state. Our kids continue to do that and to go to the national level and place there in the nation of all the schools and all the FFA chapters across America. Could not be more proud of these young people. So let them know tonight with your applause how proud you are of them and what they're doing. And remember, parents, you can come up too for the photograph. We want our FFA advisors, if you're here, to come up as well, because you're a huge, huge part of that. And principals of their schools, if you're here as well, we'd like to invite you to come up. So, competing at and they'll go to Indianapolis, Indiana. You know, Indy is known for something else. I think there's a small car race that they might have there, right? So competing at the national level will be Rachel Noble of South Lenoir High School in prepared public speaking, Hannibal Heath of North Lenoir High School in both veterinary science and ag placement, and from North Lenoir High School, Sydney Witchard in nursery operations. In addition, Sydney was selected as secretary for the 2023-2024 North Carolina FFA State Officer Team. South Lenoir received the Superior Chapter Award, recognizing chapters who meet specific chapter quality standards in their program. Among other South Lenoir honorees were Quentin Rouse, Taylor Lane, Brody Lynch, Emma Rayner, who all earned state degrees. In state proficiency awards, Quentin earned a second place finish in the ag services, and Grayson Sutton earned a second place in specialty crop. So at this time, I'll ask we'll begin with our first place winners who are going to the national level, and then we'll recognize South Lenoir High School for the chapter award. And so if the advisors would come forward and the principals come forward after we call our students. So Miss Rachel Noble of South Lenoir High School prepared public speaking. Let's give her a round of applause. Miss Hannibal Heath of North Lenoir in both veterinary science and ag placement. Miss Sydney Witchard in nursery operations. Is Sydney with us? She's not? Okay. All right. I'll ask the chair to join me, and we will recognize these young ladies. While we're getting your certificates, ladies, public speaking is a big part of this deal. We can share with those assembled here what competing at the state level, winning first in North Carolina has meant to you.
Well, with prepared public speaking, last year I did the quiz, but this year I had the opportunity to actually write my own speech and compete with that. This year my speech is about women in agriculture and their involvement in the industry from World War II up to now. It's obviously very near and dear to my heart as I'm a part of this organization, and it's been really exciting to be able to share that with the judges and the people watching me give my speech.
I have been working in a vet hospital since I was 4 years old, so my biggest supporter is my mama. She did all of this for me, so
Advisors, you see, you young ladies follow directions so well. Our advisors, great. Congratulations. Congratulations, proud of them. And our principals.
We can put a couple more on the front. There you go. That's good. Slide out. Roger, you're good. That's good. All right. Hold for 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 3. 1, 2. Other. Thank you. Good job.
If we could get the South Lenore advisors to come back for the chapter award.
I'm gonna invite both of these young ladies up as well.
Okay.
They're the ones that wrote it.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Rachel. Now, the advisor or Rachel or anyone else can share what this state chapter award means.
This award means that our chapter has has been involved in multiple activities throughout the year known as POA. And we have excelled in these activities. And this is for the students. They have made all of this possible, and they would like to thank them.
Ladies, what are our chances in Indianapolis? I think they're
I think
great.
they're pretty good.
I think they're great. That's right. That's right. Now, she won there before, so she should know. All right.
North Carolina strong.
Yes.
Okay. Back row needs to slide that way. Okay. Perfect. All right. Hold 3. 1, 2. One more. 1, 2. There you go.
Congratulations. Two Lenore County Public Schools educators who not only teach students in their exceptional children's classrooms but also work to champion their success have been honored with our Exceptional Children's Department's top awards for 23-24. First, Ms. Stacy Britt of North Lenore High School is the EC Teacher of the Year. Ms. Shonda Hines of Kinston High School is the EC Teacher Assistant of the Year. Ms. Britt has spent her entire career as a teacher at North Lenore High School, where she is known for her willingness to engage in professional development and her use of all available tools to assess student progress and to provide students with a record of their growth. Ms. Hines joined LCPS in 2003 as a teacher assistant and bus driver at Rochelle Middle School and worked as an EC teacher assistant at Southeast Elementary School before coming to Kinston High. She is known as an educator with a passion for helping her students both in the classroom and away from school. Congratulations to Ms. Stacy Britt and Ms. Shonda Hines for their awards, and thank you to our Exceptional Children's Department for honoring them. I want to say that both of these ladies are known for their dedication, they're known for their tenacity, and most of all, their love for children. I had the opportunity not only to teach Ms. Britt in high school, but also to supervise her for 4 years when I was principal at North Lenore, and truly is one of the great pleasures of my life to watch this young lady do what she did every day in working with students in her self-contained class. And to say that you need love and compassion is an understatement, and she has it many-fold, and a passionate advocate for kids. And if I ever saw her, I don't think I ever saw her really upset, but if I ever saw her get close to being upset, it was when she thought a student might not be things might not be working out for a student. So no greater passionate advocate for kids than I've ever seen than Stacy Britt. She's a true credit to this profession and to all that we aspire to do every day. So just love Miss Britt. She's outstanding. Ms. Shonda Hines is known as the same. She's known as a tenacious advocate for kids. So these are two outstanding examples right here. Multi-talented coach, bus driver, does it all. Been there day in, day out, never failing kids. I understand if you want to see Miss Hines get upset, you let her think that a kid's not giving his best or her best and not working out for them either. It's amazing how they would both have that in common, right? Tenacious advocates for children. And both of them happen to be coaches too. All that and coaches as well. So if these two ladies would come forward, please. Congratulations. Now, I said a few things about the EC department. I read what the EC department wrote, and I said what I think about both of you, which is that you're both outstanding, and this school system loves you because you love the children you serve. Anything that you'd like to say to these folks about this award and what this means to you? And I know from working with Ms. Britt all those years, she's not comfortable with accolades. Oh, it's just what I do. That's what I do. And she's truly the best I've ever seen at what she does.
I appreciate it, and thank you for all the support between the administration and staff that I work with, and thank the parents for sending the kids.
Absolutely. Ms. Hines?
I appreciate the North County Public Schools for giving me opportunity to do all that I do, driving the bus, in the classroom, on and off the court. I just love the North County Public Schools for the children.
How's the team looking this year?
Looking great.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Everybody, there you go. Okay, on three. One, two, one more. One, two. Thank you.
The streak continues. Once again, we can say that in the sports world, right? Once again this year, Lenoir County Early College High School has been honored as a U.S. News and World Report Best High School, Best of the Best High Schools, chosen for recognition among 18,000 high schools in the United States. Early College, known for its 100% graduation rate and A school status, high academic achievement, first achieved Best High School honor in 2014. Hats off to the Phoenix at Early College High School and their outstanding record of success, and mostly it's just hard work. And just so proud of this model. When we started Early College High School, people were saying, what is that on a college campus? Would it work? Could it work? Can high school kids go to school? Can you have ninth graders on the campus of community college? It works great, and it's an opportunity, and we've early collegeized all of our schools with giving kids the opportunity to earn credits, a two-year degree while still in high school. But the flagship of that, of CTP, the first one to lead the way, was Early College High School. So I'll ask Mr. Sainaman, and Mr. Sainaman, if you have any of your staff members here, if you'd like to come forward, please. We'd like to present you. What do you attribute the success, Mr. Sainaman, of Early College High School?
Sorry, everything goes to
Do not say the principal.
It all goes to the students, into our staff, and everything. We have one of our finest ones right here, Eli. He's, someone like Eli here, he's going to graduate in 4 years, going to get his two-year degree. He's also been a Governor's School recipient, and we're just very blessed to have just an outstanding group of students at the early college, and we have an outstanding faculty. It's on the LCC treats us really well, and so we're just fortunate to be where we are.
One of the most impressive things that I see when I'm at Early College High School is the staff members interact with students every day. We say that happens in every school, and to some degree it does, but it's all about the numbers. It's such a small environment. They actually meet individually with every single student every day and talk about their progress and their future and what's going to happen. So that individualized approach is even more possible here in other places. So congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Over. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
And finally, our Board of Education, the Gold Bell Award for whole school board training is presented to the members of the Lenoir County Board of Education for training excellence and commitment during the 2022-2023 North Carolina School Boards Association Academy Year of the NCSBA Academy of School Boardsmanship. That's a mouthful. Congratulations to our board for the training. I'll ask the chair and the vice chair to join us. Mr. Vice Chairman picked up this award and went to the training center.
About the entire board.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, ladies. The entire board.
Chair, that's right.
Picture time.
Well, that comes to the front.
Somebody's gonna have to get on the front row. That'll do. There you go. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Thank
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Was it something we said? How's everybody?
And I have the opportunity to say this almost every meeting.
Living by itself.
But these are just more examples of the amazing things that are happening in Lord County Public Schools. We do have one person that has signed up for public comment. Mr. Paul Foxworth. If you'll just come forward. And as a reminder to all, per board policy, comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. No one will be allowed to be heard in open session regarding student or employee matters. Board members will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarification of points made.
Good day, Mr. Chair, and to all the members of the board. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share this information. I went on the line to verify the location of the meeting and was glad to see that there was an opportunity for a public comment. So here I am. I'd like to introduce to you today a new 501c3 organization in Lenoir County called the Achievers Academies of North Carolina. And we are committed, if I can read the mission statement to you, the mission of AANCI is to provide summer and after-school enrichment programming for the youth and teens of North Carolina to ensure achievement academically, intellectually, socially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. We are currently housed at 301 North Seacrest Street here in Kinston, and our vision is to impact 5,000 kids in 5 years. We're starting right here in Lenoir County, building a program that started this summer with summer enrichment. Plans to be up to 25 children in this semester, in the fall, and then by the end of next semester, be up to 100. We will be applying for the 21st Century Grant to assist us in our endeavors. We're working with a grant writer now, and I'm proud to say we had a very successful summer, and we're partnering, well, there's 3 pillars that we stand on with Achievers Academies. One is collaboration. We need to collaborate with our school systems, with our community partners, our churches, of course, our parents and our youth, and also sustainability. Again, we're not here just to get one grant. We're here to make a large impact, not only in Lenore County, but in surrounding counties, and eventually across the state of North Carolina. And the last piece is caring. Our tagline is love fosters success, and I think this is the thing that makes us different from many avenues that we may seek to help our youth. We really love our youth and really desire to see their success. And so you will be hearing from us. We've already started making collaborations with early college for volunteers from high school students. We're reaching out to fraternal organizations in the community for volunteers. We're going to be reaching out to churches to use some of that space that's not being utilized currently to house our programs. We're looking at having 25 programs in Lenore County over the next couple of years that house 25 youth per program. And so primarily from Lenore County, we would love to partner with you for transportation purposes and also just to get the word out to our parents about what we're doing to help our youth here in Lenore County. I do have flyers and brochures. With your permission, I'd love to pass those out to the board members and answer any questions you may have. Okay. Thank you. It's on the back of that. That's the last page. That's fine. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Popworth. And we would like to thank all stakeholders for their time, interest, concerns, and comments pertaining to the Lenore County Public School System.
Okay. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. We will now move to the presentation portion of the agenda. Chair recognizes Mr. Brigg Williams, Mrs. Frances Herring, and Mr. Nick Harvey to present a summary of the openings of the 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As noted earlier, Ms. Herring will be presenting the instructional summary and Mr. Harvey the operations summary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'd like to start by sending my condolences to the North Lenore family and the passing of a beloved coach and science teacher, Mr. Tony Hill, and thank the support across the district from our schools. There was a lot of green and black worn today across Lenore County. The Hawks have a scheduled varsity football game tonight at East Carteret, and I'm sure that they are playing for Coach Hill and in his honor. Our current enrollment as of the 8th day of school is 8,133 students, which is 12 students up from the 7th day of school. While the numbers are still a little down from last year, it is a very good start and it is very early in the school year, and we are confident that our numbers will continue to rebound. The schools have embraced the new curriculum in reading and math K-12. There have been hundreds of hours of training for our updated resources, and anecdotally, while we were visiting each school the week before the students returned, we received positive feedback over and over from teachers. They were very appreciative of the materials that you all approved at the last board meeting, and the teachers and staff have been extremely receptive to the training. We're continuing year 2 of the state mandated letters training for K-5 teachers. We are in the 3rd and final cohort for the state for letters training, and we are almost done. We're continuing to follow through on our work from the retreat this summer, focusing on standards-based aligned instruction toward the North Carolina Standard Course of Study and celebrating all of the outstanding accomplishments of our students and staff. We will be sharing some exciting news with you tonight regarding Apple Distinguished Schools designations, truly an inspiring accomplishment. But finally, our focus continues to be on alignment to the state standards and working diligently to ensure that planning lessons is centered on standards alignment. We are excited about the 23-24 school year and can't wait to share with you all of these amazing things that will come out of this year. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Tonight, I would like to begin my LCPS school opening operations report by offering tons of praise to our directors, Mr. Outlaw, Mr. White, Ms. Smith, and Ms. Bruner, who are working diligently this summer to prepare for the 23-24 school year. The efforts to prepare their departments for a new school year is a daunting task, full of assessing and hiring. During the summer months, where school literally never shuts down, I think there were a total of 3 days, absent a Friday, where there were no students in our schools this summer. We are working hard and at an extremely rapid pace to exhaust our ESSER funds by addressing our HVAC and roofing needs and other needs in approved areas. We do recognize that we have had a few hot days this year with classrooms and hallways being unusually warm. Unfortunately, these equipment failure issues have been compounded by an excessively late hot August and early September. Our current HVAC team of 1 has been working tirelessly to assess these issues and find resolutions. These much needed upgrades in the areas I referenced earlier will assist our efforts to ensure that our classrooms are comfortable and conducive to learning. As a reminder, our maintenance team prioritizes our greatest needs prior to obtaining board approval for our capital projects. Our child nutrition department reports that they have seen an increased participation in our high school schools at a pace of nearly 200 more students per day eating lunch during the first 2 weeks of school. That's over 600 students a day. Ms. Smith attributes this to the new self-serve model and increased menu options, including wings and salad bars. Ms. Smith is extremely excited about the increased participation and looks forward to another great school year. In technology, Mr. White and his team are in the process of rolling out security updates for our email system to better protect our district from cyber attacks that have crippled districts across the nation and our state. Additionally, our technology department has had another successful year of collecting and distributing our Apple devices to all students and staff members within the district. You will also hear tonight a very exciting announcement regarding our technology initiative. In the area of transportation, Ms. Bruner has reported that a new commercial driver's license course has begun that will result in new drivers for our buses to eliminate our 5 current vacancies. Also, Ms. Bruner traveled to last week, Ms. Bruner traveled to Thomasville to retrieve one of the new 4 buses that we will receive via the state Volkswagen settlement. Finally, our GPS system, Synovia, has been updated and installed on all buses. This will lead to the opportunity to begin the rollout of Here Comes the Bus, a parent portal for our parents. More info to come regarding the parent portal. In athletics, we have entered our 5th week of fall sports competition, halfway through. Please come out and support our teams when you can, and please use your badges as you enter the arenas. If you need a new badge, please let me know. Finally, for me, I'm sure you all are aware that the Teachers Memorial Facility is still in the upset bid phase. Our latest bid cycle ended last Thursday. The offer to purchase is in the amount of $140,000. The next upset bid cycle ends September 18, 2023 at 4 p.m. The new lowest acceptable upset bid is $147,050. We will update the board as this process continues. That concludes my report.
All right, are any questions from Mr. Williams, Mrs. Herring, or Mr. Harvey?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Bruner, is she still in the interim phase?
Yes.
Okay, when do you think that vacancy will be filled? Has it been posted? Is she interested in?
Well, it depends, and we can talk about that. There are a lot of factors to look at. A person might be interim for a number of months, and we've had people be interim for a couple of years.
Okay.
Also,
on the Teachers Memorial issue, is there any way we can amend how this bid or this auction is running? Because at this point, if we don't do something different and we run this for, wait for an upset bid. There's no telling how long we can move with this, and it's been going on for a long time. Is there any way we can amend how this is done?
The facilities committee can make a recommendation to the board, and there are various ways to do it, as long as it's legally appropriate and advised by the attorney. Then we can choose that method. Carolyn, you want to say anything about that?
Well, there are other methods available under the statute. We did recommend to the committee the use of the upset bid process because that is what best determines the value of the property. I think we're on round 6 right now. And, I think if we see where this heads, it ought to provide the board an opportunity to receive the best possible outcome in terms of the offer. But if the committee wants to explore their options, we can certainly talk to them about that.
Okay. So the facilities committee would have to make a recommendation on that. Correct.
We could take it to the committee as part of our subcommittee structure for consideration as a concern, and then the committee could bring forward any recommendations for changes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
As someone who has been a hawk on Teachers Memorial, I want to say we're a lot closer now to finishing it than we've been since we closed it that night here in this board meeting.
So how far are we away from closing it?
I predicted it was going by Christmas.
Christmas?
With the money in the bank.
That's a prediction.
So what if it's not done by Christmas? Where do we go
Then
from
Happy
there?
New Year.
I don't know. It's
No.
not Happy New Year because we're still
If
dragging it on.
If it goes to December, then I think that's adequate time for the facility committee to readdress it. But I don't think it'll go that long.
Are you on the facilities committee?
No, I'm not. But I can tell you as someone who's been hounded on that, I'm a lot more comfortable now with where we are and at any time of this whole process.
Well, you kind of hounded on the gymnasium, not really the sale of, well, never mind, that was a different, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Okay. Okay.
And just, Ms. Cash, I've been on the board a while now, and we've been through this process several times. And this process, and we get a recommendation from the attorney or counsel, this process has seemed to yield the highest bids by having the upset process. Now, I don't know if you can, and that's by, I mean, the 10 days is that by statute?
It is.
That's a North Carolina statute.
If you just select that option, you have to follow the 10-day upset process. So in the past, it has yielded some
High returns.
more money for facilities than what we were anticipating. Not to say that that's the only way to do it.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Any comments? All right, thank you, Mr. Williams, Mrs. Harry, and Mr. Harden for that update. We believe it is what I consider a very good start to the school year. Chair recognizes Mrs. Francis Harry again to present a summary of the event to recognize Lenore County Public Schools as Apple Distinguished School.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and board members. The Apple Distinguished School designation is an instructional and academic designation that speaks directly to our planning and curriculum alignment. These tools allow us to spark more engaging ways to teach and students to learn. The Apple Distinguished School program is by invitation only for schools that meet the program qualifications. These qualifications include having an established one-to-one program, demonstrating innovative school use of the Apple platform, proven leadership and faculty proficiency with the iPad or Mac, and evidence of an innovative school leadership team. All 17 of Lenore County Public Schools were invited to apply for this recognition this past year. School leadership teams submitted an application packet, including 3 videos from each school, highlighting the innovation of teaching and learning in their schools. a written application telling the story of learning at their school, and a collection of artifacts displaying their reach beyond the school walls. The application process focused on demonstrating how the school and classrooms were inspiring, sparked imagination, and impact the students, community, and world around them. As stated earlier, each school submitted 3 videos as a part of their application process. This video is one that was submitted by Northwest Elementary School, demonstrating how they are inspiring students to lead, learn, and thrive in our dynamic world.
Took was one change, one shift in our way of learning to create our digital journey. This is when our district implemented the ILCPS one-to-one initiative. Teachers began to collaborate to find ways to support our school's vision of striving to empower our students to be 21st century learners in a global society. Here at Northwest, we pride ourselves at being successful, original, accountable, and respectful. Incorporating technology allows our students to shine in their learning. The one-to-one initiative leveled the playing field for our students coming from diverse backgrounds, providing equitable opportunities of learning for all students.
Lenore County Public Schools started our digital learning journey over 10 years ago with the primary goal of increasing equity for all schools and all students. We are a school system and not a system of individual schools. We are proud that in Lenore County, technology supports the best and most effective learning opportunities possible for all schools, all grade levels, and all students.
The global pandemic increased our teachers' competence in digital instruction. We saw that our students thrive being creators, authors, illustrators, and innovators. By embracing this vision for learning, students were equipped with the tools and mindset necessary to navigate a dynamic world, adapt to change, and contribute positively to society. We're living up to our school motto, breaking barriers.
Because we have a comprehensive digital learning structure in place, each school embedded a message from our superintendent, Mr. Williams, within one of their videos, showcasing that every school in Lenore County Public Schools is supported with our digital learning initiative. Let us take a look at the number of Apple Distinguished Schools across the globe. There are currently 728 schools across 36 different countries. Of those 728 schools, less than 300 are located in the United States. There are only 3 Apple Distinguished Schools in North Carolina, and as you see from the map, all 3 are located in the western part of the state. I'm excited about the next slide. We are thrilled that 12 schools from Lenore County Public Schools have been selected to join the worldwide list of instructionally designated Apple Distinguished Schools. We have representation from elementary, middle, and high schools and across all 3 of our attendance tracks, further demonstrating that our digital learning infrastructure in Lenore County is strong and woven tightly into who we are as a school system. We've also been told that LCPS has the most schools identified as Apple Distinguished Schools in one district at one time ever in the entire world. We do have a lot to celebrate, and we would love for you to mark your calendars and plan to join us along with our students and school leadership teams and Apple Distinguished guests on Monday, November 20th at Kinston High School's Performing Arts Center.
We'll be inviting, we were in contact with the state superintendent today, Catherine Trula, and we'll be inviting her, and we'll be inviting members of the State Board of Education. We'll be inviting county commissioners, city council members, the mayors of our towns, because it's 12 schools in our school system, 12 of 17. And we just want this to be a big celebration. and other officials, former board members, former board chairs, from when we implemented digital learning. So we'll be inviting a lot of people, and we certainly hope that you, our Board of Education members, can be there on this special day. The theme of the day, as you see, is celebration, but it's also Apple Corporation. It's not really about a company. It's about this award, this designation that's sponsored by Apple, but it has little to do with technology, or less to do with technology than with instruction. It's about the comprehensive instructional model and using digital tools to support that. It'll be at the Performing Arts Center at Kinston High School, as she said, and we will have it'll be partly an awards program and partly a pep rally.
Yes.
And we'll bus in students from all 12 schools, and we'll have a nice reception for you, our invited guests and dignitaries, out in the lobby, and our students will come in, and we'll commence with celebrating. And this is great. And we're told that the pretty high up executives at Apple will be flying in for the event. And they're inviting members of the General Assembly. We'll invite members of our delegation, but we've already been told that Apple, independent of us, is inviting members of the General Assembly and the governor. So we're not sure about schedules and who will attend, but we're really, really excited.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
All right, any questions, Mrs. Herring? Any comments? Thank you, Mrs. Herring, for sharing this recognition. And I do not get tired of saying this. Another accomplishment for Lenore County Public School Systems. Thank you. Chair recognizes Mrs. Frances Herring again to present an overview of Lenore County Public School testing data for the 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'd like to start off our presentation tonight with the celebration that 71% of our schools met or exceeded growth this past school year. Here is how each school fell in the growth designations designated by the state of North Carolina. In reading 3rd through 8th grade, if you'll note, and it's small, I do recognize that. It starts with 3rd grade in the top left, and it goes 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade reading. The bars to the left are the state's averages from 2021, which is the orange bar, 21-22, the yellow bar, and 22-23, the green bar. The 3 bars to the right are the LCPS proficiency scores. As you can see, we have had a steady increase in reading 3rd through 8th grade over the last 3 years, with the exception of 6th grade reading, which is in compliance with the state average, and it is known to be because it is a transition year, so it is not an anomaly. This is math, 3rd through 8th grade math in the same order. So 3rd, 4th, 5th at the top, and 6th, 7th, and 8th at the bottom. Again, the left side in each section is the state's average for the past 3 years, and the right 3 graphs on the right are Lenore County Public Schools. Our math scores are exceptional with regards to rebound since COVID, and especially if you notice in the 4th grade. The 6th grade math scores had a small dip, but that is not uncommon in a transition year. Fifth grade science and 8th grade science. Our 5th grade on the left side of the slide and 8th grade is on the right side of the slide are absolutely in line and competitive with the state's performance, as you can see there. The state is at 65% in 5th grade science. We were at 61.3. And in 8th grade science, the state was at 70.2 and we were at 65.4. For high school, NC Math 1 is in the corner, NC Math 3, biology, and then English 2 in the corner. We've had a steady increase in proficiency since the pandemic. In 2021, the orange bar, in Math 1, Math 3, and biology. We have made gains in English 2, but still remain below pre-pandemic levels. But as you can see, The state has not exceeded pre-pandemic levels in English 3 either, English 2 either. Our 4-year cohort graduation rate continues to be competitive and be absolutely in line with the state's graduation rate. We are very proud of the little to no significant fluctuation here. Dibbles for 22-23. This is the same data that was shared at the board retreat, and you can see how extensive the growth in reading from beginning of the year, which is the top line, the BOY, and see how the extensive the growth is reading from the beginning of the year to the end of the year in both kindergarten, which is the top, and in first grade. The red line shrinks and the yellow, green, and blue lines get longer, and that is exactly what we want. Second and third grade both made tremendous gains in reading proficiency from beginning of the year to end of the year Dibbles assessments. There's summer 2023 data. During our summer retesting in June, we made proficiency gains in every grade level and every subject. The orange bar on the left was the first round of original testing data, and the green bar to the right, or yellow bar, is the results from our short summer session. And as you'll see, 3rd through 8th grade reading and math, the retesting had gains across the board. MAPS is our universal screener that we use to adjust our teaching throughout the year to measure student mastery of standards. It isn't punitive. We give the screener in the fall, which is the orange line, in the winter, which is the yellow line, and in the spring, which is the green line. These are the reading, and you can see we had tremendous gains in 4th through 8th grade, and high school had a slight dip. MAPS math scores are the same. MAPS, again, is our universal screener that we use to adjust our teaching throughout the year to measure student mastery of standards. And we give this screener 3 times a year. In the fall, the orange line, the winter, the yellow line, and the spring, in the green line. And you can see we made great gains in math. And I want to finish the report by thanking you for your support. If they answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from Mrs. Harry?
Yeah, I have some concerns
Yes, sir.
with some of these grades. I just look at our grade levels.
Yes, sir.
They have decreased since 21, 22.
They've increased actually since 21. The 2021, 21, 22, and 22, 23, we've had a steady increase in 3rd through 8th grade. Let me show back.
The letter grade.
Well,
Letter grade.
That's the state's comparison, 80% proficiency and 20% growth.
Yeah.
That is the state average, yes, sir. Those are the state letter grades. Those
It only
are not
factors
given.
in 20% for the growth.
Yeah, it's only 20% for the growth.
But what I see is schools that were consistent, South and North, North and North, those schools have got different grades.
So we recognize that the high school, that there is a tremendous amount of room for improvement, and we have plans in place for that, and we look forward to sharing those with you next week when you are
We have our
hopefully able to join us
presentations
when
next
the
week.
schools present their school improvement plans.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, with that being said, as a board, and I think that my issue, as I share with some members, is are we doing enough to support you guys in that, so that we can, right the ship? Because even though we do see growth, we want to see those letter grades also reflected and changing, because if you Google that information, like you have a lot of people who are moving to Lenore County and they see
And
what
other-
it is they
and-
see.
And during the pandemic, the proficiency dropped in almost every district.
Right.
I mean, the county to our north slipped
Right.
into low performing status last year. We
Right.
did not. The county to our south slipped into low performing status last year. We did not. We had historic growth last year.
Right.
This year, growth is strong, not as strong as it was last year.
Yes, but I did an analysis too. If you compare us with the people in the southeast, we are not doing that well.
The proficiency across the southeast is low,
Right.
and our growth continues to
Yeah,
be
you
high,
got
but
about 4 schools, you got about 6 schools that don't have no F schools and D schools.
But I agree with you, the proficiency in the southeast region continues to be low. Across the state, it continues to be low, especially in the northeast and the southeast. And next week, we are presenting our school improvement plans, and we hope that you can attend those and
Yeah,
hear,
I'm attending
and hear
because-
in detail what our schools are doing.
And one of the things that's also important to note too is that when you look at schools that consistently, particularly the districts in the northeast and southeast, they're tier 1 districts. It is a map of poverty. And so it's critical that you all did what you did for us last month. And at all of our presentations that I gave at all of the schools, when we went and visited all 17 schools, is I made a note of thanking you, the board, for the resources that you all approved last month, because we knew that that is exactly what we need. It was the first time since I've been in this role that the board has approved comprehensive K-12 reading and math resources. And that is critical. And I think if you were to ask a teacher, and like I mentioned in my notes, when we were going and doing all the opening meetings at all of the 17 schools, at almost every single school, we had teachers that said, I just want to thank you so much for those materials. I want to thank you so much for the math resources. I want to thank you so much for the reading resources. So
And we look
when you
forward
ask
to-
that question of Dr. Outlaw Starkey, that is what we need to know.
And we look forward to sharing with you next week. Every principal's coming in with their staff members, and they'll share in detail with you where exactly a deep dive on the data and where we're going with the improvement plans for this year.
I just wanted to get my question answered. Are we doing enough? Because I actually had a follow-up question. Are we doing enough as a board, you guys think? I know what you just said, you know, Ms. Aaron, but are we doing enough as a board to support the school system? Are we making sure that our teachers are being supported? Superintendent Williams is being supported, Assistant Superintendent Harvey, you, Associate. Are we supporting you guys in a way where we can right this ship? I want to know that now.
Well, we thank you for your support. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
we believe that you are, and attending those meetings
Right.
and engaging in that process goes a long way toward that.
Okay.
I think.
Go
Go ahead with your follow-up, I'm sorry.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
And so she kind of answered that question about the resources because, you know, I was going to also ask about us allocating appropriate resources so that strategically we can do something about this. But also, what about, are we, in that saying that, you know, support, that we want to support you guys in every way, are we also holding staff accountable to our high standards of what we want our school system to look like?
And that also will be
So-
covered in our presentations next
Yes.
week, and we invite
Okay.
you to come and to see that.
Sure. Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it. That's a great question.
And in addition to
You
that,
got
we.
to inspect what you expect.
Right, and we
Yes.
go out to our schools twice a month. We take the entire senior staff out, and we would invite board members to join those visits to the schools. And the sole purpose of visiting is to revisit the school improvement plan, to look at it through 3 lenses. Number 1, what's working? Well, number 2, what's not working? And number 3, how can this team better support you in that? And if the board is part of that team and is there and present, then that only increases the effectiveness of that, I think.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just think when I looked at it, my concern was just looking at these schools that dropped letter grades from 21, 22. As we were coming out of the pandemic, I was kind of expecting them to be higher. As we came out of the pandemic, I would expect them to have been lower. But I saw we had gains last year, the year before. And when I looked at them this year, it looked like that they dropped from where they were the year before.
Many districts had a tremendous reduction coming out of the pandemic, and we did not. And that's the upside of not having a reduction. But the downside of that is then your bar increases for growth and also for proficiency.
Yeah,
Or does it stay the same, it gets higher and higher and higher. Yes.
And you know, for me, over these years, I've been a strong opposition against the 2080 thing.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that's all the public sees.
Well, there was a lot of talk about that last year, and I think that there will be again this year. And I truly did think that we were at the point of having that changed at the state level last year, and I hope that it will, because really growth is the most accurate marker of where you started in the classroom and where you end. If a student comes to a classroom 2 years behind and the teacher makes a year's worth of progress for that student, the proficiency is still not going to be there, but the growth is off the scale.
Right, and I understand that, and like I said, over the years, I've spoken out against the 2080 rule.
And we appreciate that.
But the public don't really understand it when they come move to the area and they pull it up and they see, oh, that's a F school or that's a D school. So whatever we can do, and if I can attend those meetings, I surely will, because I want to see what we can do.
And it's also difficult too, because not all schools are held to the same standard.
I'm gonna be there because I've been through all the data. I know all the tier 1s, tier 2, tier 3 schools and how we stack up against them.
We present
So
those every
I'll be
year, and
there.
we look forward to that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any more questions, any more comments? So I just will, sort of piggyback on Mr. Smith said, they started that A through F, 80% proficiency, 20% growth, and I think if you talk to anybody in the education field, they would say, so what Mr. Williams just said, that it's the amount of growth that really shows how well a child does in a given year. I do realize, that scale maybe is not as accurate or reflective as it should be, and I do understand it.
That's what we got, though.
Probably during this year, you should have gotten a survey from the Department of Public Instruction. I know I did, and you could fill out the survey and give input as to what other types of factors could be used in determining a letter grade. So I think they're coming up with something now, more than just those two. They're going to come up.
I believe
with,
there's more impetus for changing it in the coming year than it has
and I think the Superintendent Truitt has really been pushing it.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, not to make it excuses, but I don't think that's actually been a true, accurate reflection of what the kids have done. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna just say too, and I'm always gonna advocate hard for school administrators and teachers and everything, but what also really needs to be taken into consideration, I deal with this every day, is that the mental health also of these students
Agreed.
are just not good. Like, I have students that I see as a professional therapist that just don't even want to go to school because they've been out for 2 years. That's it.
All right, any more comments?
And just along those lines, that's why I was glad to see in the other meeting that we hired more mental health staff this year to help facilitate that.
Okay, good discussion. Any more comments? All right, thank you, Mrs. Herring, for your presentation. All right, Chair recognizes Mrs. Frances Herring once again to present an overview of the Lenore County Public School Improvement Process Summary for the 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. This is our school improvement plan timeline, which is very timely, given the conversation we just had for the 23-24 school year. We just like to emphasize our continuous oversight for school improvement. Our commitment to school improvement includes a seamless process. It's composed of multiple layers of cyclical, ongoing oversight, which speaks to what you asked about, Dr. Al-Starkey. September, we have presentations next week of the school improvement plans from each of the schools. The principals come and present to our leadership team and to board members. Mr. Williams mentioned just a moment ago that we have monthly school visits by our district leadership team to each school. In January, we have their principals come back and we review the school improvement plans that they put in place at the beginning of the year so that we can have a middle of the year marker. We also have the annual summer board and administrator retreat. And in the spring, we have what we call our urgency, our moment of urgency, and our urgency momentum each spring. September 18th, this is our schedule. It will be a long day, but it'll be very informative. I believe that this was sent to you by Jesse Taylor in an email, so you should already have this. The 19th is also a long day. We begin each of those days at 8:30. We will go until just before 4 or around 4. We don't meet on the 20th, but we will finalize our last 3 schools on September 21st. 3 high schools there. In October, we have our annual presentation, so I'll come back to you at the next board meeting, and will present to you a summary, if you will, of each of the school improvement plans and the district improvement plan at the October board meeting. The board, we ask that you take a month to read and inquire about each plan, and then we come back in November, and each of the plans are action items. So at that time, I will respectfully request that each of the school improvement plans and the district improvement plan be approved, because they are due, submission is due December 4th to DPI, and that's legislated, that's mandated. And so we actually, our board meeting in December is actually after December 4th. So we are hoping that we'll be able to put something in place for you to approve them in time for us to meet the deadline. So that concludes my report for our school improvement plan timeline. If you have any questions.
Any questions from Ms. Herring? Yes, Mr. Smith.
If I could just go back 1 minute to what we were saying. I do think it's worth noting, though, when we were looking at all the data that, and we heard that the alternative school did make growth, which is not usual.
Right.
Thought that was worth noting that they did that.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any more questions or comments? All right, thank you, Mrs. Herring, for the overview. And as Ms. Herring said, the board is invited to attend the NC Star School Improvement Plan beginning of the year presentation. All right.
Thank you so
Chair.
much.
I'm sorry.
I said thank you.
Oh, thank you for all your hard work tonight. All right. Chair recognizes Mr. Charles White to present a review of the bid for the fire alarm system replacement at South Lenore High School. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Charles White, and I'm Director of Media and Technology here for Lenore County Public Schools. So tonight I'm presenting for the board the bid for the replacement of the fire alarm system at South Lenore High School. Several years ago, we audited our district to review those schools in dire need. Southwood Elementary, South Lenore, and North Lenore High School were the primary locations identified with the highest needs based on age, condition, and existing issues within the school. Last year, we were able to fund the replacement of Southwood Elementary's fire system as they were identified as the school in the greatest need. The bid ran in multiple publications, including Lenore County Public Schools website and within News. This summer, we placed a public bid for South Lenore, our second highest need in the district. And tonight I'm presenting the results of the bid for you to review for the board, and will seek your approval to move forward in the October board meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have concerning the replacement of the system.
Any questions from Mr. White? Any comments? All right, thank you, Mr. White.
Thank you. And if y'all have any questions throughout the month, by all means, please reach out, and I'm happy to help in any
And I
way.
would just like to say, if you have any questions, please contact Mr. White. Because the bid, it will be submitted for review and would actually be taken at the next board meeting. Chair recognizes Mr. Brent Williams to present the North Carolina School Board Association's policies to lead the school's policy revision.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The North Carolina School Board Association has submitted policy revisions through the Policies to Lead the Schools subscription in response to recent legislative action. The policies are submitted tonight for board study with action to be taken at a subsequent meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any questions for Mr. Williams tonight? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Now, as you review the policy revision, please contact Mr. Williams if you have any questions. These policies will come back next month for board approval. Chair recognizes Mrs. Helen Hooker to present the August 2023 financial report.
Thank you and good evening. I'm pleased to present tonight the August 2023 financial report. The report summarizes budget and year-to-date activity for all Lenore County Board of Education funds as of August 31st, 2023. Additionally, the report presents the unadjusted local current expense fund balance as of August 31st, 2023. If you've had time to review the report and you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them for you.
Any questions, Mrs. Hooker?
Just one.
Mr. Smith?
How are we feeling about the fund balance?
In reviewing that with our last month's balance, it was an increase in utilities, so I feel it will go up in the coming months.
And overall, we budgeted for that in the
Yeah,
last
we've-
budgeting cycle. We haven't seen any fluctuations from what we budgeted for.
Any more questions? Comments? Thank you, Mrs. Hooker. We will now move to the action portion of the agenda. Chair recognizes Mrs. Helen Hooker to present the budget amendment number 1 for the 2023-2024 fiscal year.
Budget amendment number 1 is being used to revise the working budget of Lenoir County Board of Education to reflect changes that have occurred throughout the fiscal year. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them for you.
Any questions for Mrs. Hooker? Thank you, Mrs. Hooker. Mrs. Hooker, is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to budget amendment number 1?
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Anderson, a second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey. We have a motion by Mr. Anderson and a second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey to approve budget amendment number 1 for the 2023-2024 fiscal year as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for a vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0. Mrs. Hooker, we'll incorporate the budget amendment number 1 into the working budget. Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am. Chair recognizes Mrs. Vivian Roach to present exceptional children's contract for the 2023-2024 school year.
Good evening, board members. I'm requesting approval of a contract by the Interpreter Network for $150,000 for a deaf-blind student that has enrolled in our district. These funds will cover services for sign language for 2 interpreters. The funds will be paid out of PRC 930 or Medicaid funds. Additionally, we will be applying for state reserve funds to cover the cost of this student to help meet his IEP needs.
And Ms. Roach did receive word from DPI that we think that there's
Yes, sir.
It's almost certain that these funds will be covered by the state.
Okay.
And that's not a guarantee yet, but we received a reasonable assurance.
Yes, I have 90 days to apply for the funds, and then they will reimburse the cost for this student, or most of the costs.
Any more questions for Mrs. Roach?
This is only for one student, correct?
This is for one student. This is what they call a high-need student.
If another student transfers into the district and we need these services for someone else, how often can you apply to being reimbursed? It's just
Every time a student applies, if it's a high-need student.
okay.
Any more questions? All right, thank you, Mrs. Roach. Is there a recommendation or a motion pertaining to the exceptional children's contract?
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Outlaw Starkey. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Woods. We have a motion by Dr. Outlaw Starkey and a second by Mr. Woods to approve the exceptional children's contract for the 2023-2024 school year as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0. Mrs. Rush, will you notify this vendor of this action?
I will.
Thank you, ma'am. Chair recognizes Mr. Brent Williams, Mrs. Frances Herring, and Mr. Nick Harvey to present a proposed recruitment, retention, recovery bonus for all full-time Lenoir County school employees for the 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, board members, for the last 2 years, we've offered a recruitment retention bonus for all of our employees. Many districts other districts have done that. That's an allowable use for the COVID recovery money, the ESSER money. This is our last full year with it and first semester of next year. So this will be our last opportunity to use it for this purpose. We took the recommendation to our board subcommittee, and at this time I'll pause, and if any member of the board representing the board subcommittee would like to report on the subcommittee's recommendation.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Williams? Okay, as Mr. Williams stated, the Budget Committee did meet and discuss a recruitment retention recovery bonus for the 2023-2024 school year. The recommendation of the Budget Committee is to provide a recovery bonus for all full-time Lenore County public school employees for the 2023-2024 school year. Is there a motion pertaining to the recovery bonus?
The amount.
The amount.
$2,000.
Okay, the amount of $2,000. So is there a motion pertaining to the recovery bonus?
So,
Motion by Mr. Anderson. Is there a second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey? We have a motion by Mr. Anderson and a second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey to approve the proposed 2023-2024 recruitment retention bonus for all full-time employees as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0. Mr. Williams, please notify all the employees.
And the bonus will be paid out in November and in June. And June, right, Ms. Hooker?
Yes, sir.
November and June, right, with the Thanksgiving check and then the check at the end of the year.
Chair recognizes Mr. Nick Harvey to present surplus items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board members, the attached items are from our CTE department and the Media and Technology department, and they are submitted for your approval to be deemed as surplus. Tonight you have a freezer from Kinston High School, textbooks, 3D printers, and outdated technology, it says MacBooks, and they are there for your viewing pleasure. Thank you.
And we're not sure that all the freezers freeze, but they are available.
All right, any questions, Mr. Harvey? All right, is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to surplus items?
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Woods, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey. Or a motion by Mr. Woods and a second by Dr. Outlaw Starkey to approve the surplus items as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0. Mr. Harvey, will you please dispose? Thank you, sir. Is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to closed session?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Lenore County Board of Education enter into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel files, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, and to consider matters relating to the initial employment of an individual employee.
Motion by Mr. Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cash. I have a motion by Mr. Anderson and a second by Mrs. Cash to move to closed session. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We are now in closed session. Thank you. All right, chair recognizes that the Monroe County Board of Education is back in open session. All right, is there a recommendation or motion pertaining to the monthly personnel recommendation?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Smith.
move to approve the personnel report with the addendum.
I have a motion by Mr. Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Woods. Motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Wood to approve the personnel report with the addendum. Any discussion? Hearing none, chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0. All right, is there another recommendation or motion pertaining to personnel?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Smith.
move to approve the amendment to the employment contracts of Mr. Harvey and Mrs. Herron as discussed in the closed session.
I have a motion here, a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Cash. Motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Ms. Cash to amend the employment contracts of Mrs. Herring and Mr. Harvey. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Chair will call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Is there another personnel recommendation? Yes,
Mr.
this is
Chair?
Dr. Outlaw.
Yes, Doctor. Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve a 5% performance bonus for Mr. Williams.
I have a motion by Dr. Outlaw. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Willis. Motion by Dr. Outlaw, a second by Mr. Willis to approve the bonus for the
Performance bonus.
The performance.
the performance bonus for superintendent. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right. Is there a motion or recommendation pertaining to adjournment?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh,
Absolutely
excuse me,
not.
hold on, excuse me. My apologies, Mrs. Cash. Any further business to come before this board?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Cash?
I would like to ask the board to do a self-evaluation using an instrument from the School Board Association that Mr. Anderson has given us so kindly. I would also like that to ask that Mr. Harvey, Ms. Herring, and Mr. Williams also give the board an evaluation. We spoke about it. It has not been done in 18 years. It's way past time.
I would like to extend that to the principals as well.
The more the merrier. If
Careful what you ask.
If we can evaluate you, you can evaluate us. So if you would like to give us some dates on when you would like to get together, hopefully we can work it out with all our calendars on when we can start the process of this evaluation. We would really appreciate it.
I would recommend that you put that in the form of a motion that can be approved by the board, and then we can start talking about dates if it's approved.
Okay.
Okay?
So
I make
is
a
there a
motion.
motion?
Yes, I make a motion that the board self-evaluates and also gets evaluations from Mr. Williams, Ms. Herring, and Mr. Harvey.
And the principal, parents and principal.
And the
Now,
principals.
second.
Yes.
And the principal, and a second. Okay, got a motion by Mrs. Cash and a second by Mr. Anderson to start the self-evaluation process
Yes.
for this board,
Yes.
and to ask Mr. Williams, Mrs. Herring, Mr. Harvey, and the principals
principals.
to also evaluate
Yes.
this board,
Yes.
the performance of this board.
Yes.
All right. Any more discussion or any more comments? All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Anderson.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Willis. Motion from Mr. Anderson, second by Mr. Willis to adjourn the September 11th, 2023 regular monthly meeting. Any discussion?
Mr. Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to hearing on that, is there a desire by this board to talk about dates and a timeline for when you want to complete your self-assessment?
So now we're talking about doing one for, so typically you do one for the superintendent for the school year. So we're talking about doing one for the past school year for the board?
I
Is that what we're
believe
referring
that's
to, or
that is what you all just approved. So
Yeah.
you'll be
Yes.
starting
For
that
this past
process
year.
today.
Mhm.
Today's already September 11th, so we have if you want it to be an assessment of last year, we'd want to quickly get the evaluations out and back, and you'd want to meet. So I guess as a board, you need to decide when do you all want to meet to review what the feedback from administration and principals, and when you want to finalize your own evaluation.
So that means we are looking at a special meeting?
Yes.
Or work session or what?
Hmm.
To approve the school improvement plans in time to.
Yes, so
Do one for that, probably.
realistically, you'd be
That's
looking at
November.
somewhere in October.
In end of November before.
It will be during November, yeah.
Okay.
Before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, so we got to get these instruments out to,
Yes.
Those individuals.
and then get them back.
Put them in the back.
Correct.
So we can do that in the same special meeting as we do
No.
the school improvement?
So is there anything that you want to have accomplished by the next board meeting? Or is
That the-
The October meeting.
Have
The
the
instruments be
evaluations out.
dispersed to everyone, yes.
Mhm.
He's having it out.
Mhm.
So who would the principals in this administration need to get them back to?
That's for the board to decide. I mean, you could get them out to them relatively quickly. The question is, when do you want to have them back?
All the school to superintendent.
Okay. Do we set a deadline now, or do we,
That's,
We need to.
I mean,
Let's say prior to the
That's
next
board
meeting. It's too late.
prior to the October meeting? Okay.
And now remember that we're mid-month September,
Yes.
so
And the meeting is actually early in
we
October.
don't have the instrument yet. We have a principal's meeting tomorrow. We could give it out. What? Okay.
Is
Okay.
it feasible to get the instrument out that quickly?
Well, we can give it out tomorrow.
That principal's meeting tomorrow.
We have a
Yeah.
principal's meeting all day tomorrow, so we can do that.
how much time, Mr. Williams, do you feel the principals would need to turn those
If we
around?
can get it out tomorrow, it's feasible by the next meeting, yeah.
So our next meeting is October 2nd.
I'd like for them to have it at least one full week, so I didn't know
Yes.
if they needed to agree on an instrument, but if they have the instrument, then, yeah.
Do you
Yeah, we
want,
can-
do you as a board want any of the information from principals compiled, or do you just want to take a, because if we have them back by the 30th, that gives a week to get that information. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. If we have it back by the 25th of October, that gives whomever's doing the compilation, whether it's my office or someone else, a week to compile that and have it ready for the board for the 2nd?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll give this out tomorrow.
Okay.
yeah. He said about 25th and
25th, and then the results of that can be compiled into one document for you all to look at, if that makes sense?
makes sense.
And I'll be happy to share with the board what you've said. We'll be happy to share that, or I would invite any of you to come and speak tomorrow and share. Just come for at some point during the day. We'll just start breakout sessions about 11. So anytime before 11 tomorrow, if you wanted to come and just share just let me know you're coming. That way we won't give it out until you get here, and you can share with them directly what your ideas are about it, what your discussion has been, because I don't know.
Do you all, as a board, part of this evaluation instrument is you each individually review your own performance, and then you do a self-assessment of the board. Do you also want to complete your individual ones this month and have those compiled for either the October meeting or a special meeting in October where you set your own priorities and finalize your evaluation?
So we would be talking about 17, 20 principals and administrators evaluations that need to be compiled? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we also have our
Well,
directors. I would hope that they
You
could
want
do.
directors
Yes,
also?
yes.
that wasn't in the
More
motion,
than- Okay.
but it wasn't in the motion, so it wasn't in the motion.
Okay.
Can you,
Someone can make a motion to include the directors.
yeah.
We have been the motion.
It's already been passed.
Well, most
So-
of them are former principals, and they work in support of the principals every day. I think their insights would be valuable.
So need another motion.
Motion to include the directors in the evaluation process.
Move to approve, to include the directors in the evaluation of the board.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Smith. Second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cash. Motion by Mr. Smith and second by Mrs. Cash to include the directors in the board evaluations. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries 6-0. So okay, so how many directors are there in? I'm just thinking about the logistics part of it.
Um,
6?
No, we have our 3 instructional directors: digital learning, technology, EC, federal programs, child nutrition, transportation, maintenance.
We're looking at about 30
About-
evaluations.
Yeah.
So we need to have some way to compile them. Okay. And if Mr. Williams would allow me, let me check my calendar.
I mean, I've not been through this process with you before, but I would imagine that this would be a lengthier meeting, that you might not want to have this conversation at a regular board meeting, but you may want to have a special called meeting to discuss this. In which you might want to
Work
look
session?
a work session in October.
Right. Because we'll already have to call a special meeting to approve the school improvement plans. And it wouldn't have to be the same one, but we do know with where the submission
Right.
deadline for the state falls.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. And that would be the latter part of October, right?
we would need to call it in November.
It would be November.
Yeah.
So if it's okay with Mr. Williams, I can come tomorrow morning? and let our principals and directors know what the board is willing and interested in doing.
Okay.
Anybody else want to join me? Is
I
anybody-
would love to. What time are you planning to be here?
What time, Mr. Smith, Mr. Williams?
We start at 8:30, and a teacher, a retired teacher, Lee Holder, who is now with the North Carolina Council for the Holocaust, is going to come and talk about the law about including Holocaust ed in the curriculum and resources that are available to our teachers. And I think he'll be here at 8:30. But certainly you guys could go before him or you could go after.
Whatever fits into your schedule.
What about
You got to him, I'll come.
9? Okay, okay, all right, okay. 9 o'clock maybe,
9 o'clock?
Let's go for
Okay.
that time.
the first cut. Okay.
All right.
Now can I make my motion again?
Now, is there any?
They're already on the table. We just need to vote on it. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn, correct?
There is.
All in favor of the motion is stated, please signify by raising your right hand. Or opposed, like sign. Motion is adjourned. Everyone, please be safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all.